Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix and welcome to another Astrobite. And as promised, this is the Astrobite for Friday, March the 14th, today. We are having a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, and the moon is opposite the sun in Pisces, conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Now, my full moon video must be up by now, and I go into it in quite a lot of detail there. But today I'm actually going to give you a little bit about what happens or which area of your life you can expect to be affected from this particular full moon. So you can listen to your sun sign as well as your rising sign. But first of all, before we get into that, and bearing in mind I'm recording this on Monday the 10th, I don't know what might have unfolded this week. I'm just going to say a few short things about the energy of this full moon that I've reflected on and thought about over the last few days. So it's on March the 14th, and it does affect health. It affects healing, and it's also, I think, about our spiritual or the spiritual side of our life and the routines we have with the spiritual side of our life, and maybe finding ways to give ourselves greater clarity about how we want to step forward with our own understanding of working with our psychic abilities, our channeling abilities. Remember, I channel the blue light beings on my other channel, Channeling and Stranger Things with Sarah Sands Smith. And I think also this eclipse, we have to remember very simply, the light is taken away. So the light goes out, taken away from the moon. Now the moon can be the feminine, but it can also be the people. What is being hidden from us that may be revealed by the time the eclipse has passed? Now, the length of the eclipse is, I think I looked it up, and it's 6 hours, and it is visible across the whole of North America, Canada, Alaska, and parts of South America. The rest of the world are getting more or less, most of the rest of the world are getting a partial eclipse. Now, because the moon is visibly and visible and eclipsed over the part of the world I told you about, North America, Canada, etc., this is where it will have its most astrologically powerful effects. And because the actual eclipse is going to last for 6 hours, you take that as an hour per month. So the effects of this eclipse are going to last for the next 6 months, whether that's on the world stage or on a personal level. So think about the light being taken away from the moon, from the people. We've got Pisces. Pisces in the event chart is in the 12th house of secrets, of what's hidden, of what we don't know. I think that Uranus sextiling the sun and Saturn and trining the moon is going to bring information to the collective, which will be shocking, sudden. I think it is going to affect how the financial world and the world economy is going to respond or react to whatever it is that I feel is secret and becomes revealed. And there is something very much to me about a leader, because it's the sun. And remember, eclipses are often about leaders, kings, queens. A lot of leaders and powerful people have major events. They're either born or they pass over around eclipses, and the eclipses would be significant in their particular chart. The Sun conjunct Saturn does bring an ending. Now, it could be an ending to secrets. It could be that something gets revealed. And so that by the time, say, the next 6 months has passed, everything is out in the open and we're able to look back and go, that is why these things have unfolded. That is what has been happening. And remember, look at this in regards to your own life as well as with regards to your or to what's happening on the world stage. There is confusion. There is illusion. It's like smoke and mirrors, hall of mirrors. Neptune is on the 29th degree of Pisces. It's at that last degree, which is so super powerful. And what's so interesting is the vertex, which is a kind of fated point in space in a chart, is on the descendant of this chart in the 6th house, which is a Virgo house, which is where the full moon is. But the vertex is in Libra, indicating that peace and harmony reign supreme ultimately. So whatever might unfold over the next 6 months, ultimately, then my feeling is it's okay. Everything kind of gets resolved in a very positive way and a balanced way. But there is going to be loss before we get there. Now, that can be on a personal level. It can be loss of a relationship, a job, but equally it can be because it's making way for something new to come in. You know, that relationship had to end because otherwise you couldn't have had the relationship you're having now with this new person. So it's important to not just dwell on what might get taken away. Look at the vacuum and the space that it can leave and what can come into that space and that vacuum. That can be very, very enlightening and fulfilling. Now, tomorrow, Saturday, Mercury goes retrograde. So that is also a kind of key pivotal energy that is around. So there is something here about, I was talking yesterday about timing with the Sun conjunct Saturn. Timing. Everything is about timing. Taking our time. Nothing needs to be rushed. So be patient. This full moon eclipse is it's going to be an interesting one, and I'm very curious because with this Uranus in Taurus, and it is in the house of finance in the event chart, there will be some rumblings and downturns and shocks and twists and turns with finances that I can assure you none of us want to hear. None of us want to hear that. And however, because Uranus is making a trine to the full moon and a sextile to the Sun and Saturn, I think it's saying, give it 6 months. Then things will rebalance themselves, readdress themselves, and all shall be well. Now, I promised you which part of the chart this was going to affect for each of you. So let's go, excuse me, to the beginning. So this is for Sun Aries or rising sign Aries. So for you, this eclipse is highlighting your day-to-day routine and your health. it's a great time to look at your routines, your health, your mental health as well as your physical health, and address it. And also look at what goes on within. Also be careful about secrets you may have that you want them to remain secret. Because you might find over the next 6 months, something comes out that you really didn't want to come out. So there's something here to be mindful of. That's what I feel with this eclipse for you, Aries. Let's look at Taurus. So Taurus, for you, it's about your creativity, how you express yourself, your love affairs, friendships. You might be waxing lyrical over the next 6 months. You might be writing poetry or storytelling. There's something quite enlightening for you about this. I think you are going to see, I think for you actually, Taurus, it's a feeling of getting a proper sense at last of how things can unfold for you over the next 6 months. It's like they're opening up. You're thinking, oh my God, everything can open up in such a wonderful way. And actually a recognition that because you are closing a chapter of your life, you can have what you want. Well, that can't be bad, can it? Should we look at Gemini? So Gemini, this is for Sun Gemini or for rising sign Gemini. So for you, Gemini, this is about your home, where you're living, your living space, and your family. It's also about your work and your work-home life balance. There's a sense with you, Gemini, that you tend to get a little bit kind of caught in the overthinking of trying to get the balance and the flexibility into where you turn your attention work-wise and making sure the family are okay and looked after. And it feels as if you are going to be wanting to look at ways that you can attend to the smaller details of the intricate lives we have with each other. So that instead of Gemini getting carried away on higher-minded thinking, because you've got Jupiter in your sign at the moment, getting you into that overthinking and kind of spiritual kind of sort of overwhelm. And this is saying, try and come down a little bit and look at the reality of what is going on around you. Listen to the people in your life. They need to be listened to. They need to be heard. I think if you're able to do that, then it will actually make a huge difference. Let's move on to Cancer. Because Cancer, for you, it's about how you communicate and how you relate in your local community. You need, Cancer, with this full moon lunar eclipse to be careful what you say, because this is a sort of an instance of misunderstandings that come because you do launch in and say what you think without being aware of whether the other person is ready to receive what you maybe have observed. So I think it's a good time, Cancer, to take a step back and reflect a bit on how you speak, what you say can affect and affects your relationships. And I think that way you can work towards healing and healing communication in your personal close relationships, especially with family. Also with work colleagues, because remember, it brings in that 10th house. Let's look at Leo. Leo sun and Leo rising. So Leo, for you, it's really affecting your income, your financial world, your how you feel about yourself, your personal values. You kind of perhaps going to be kind of again getting a little bit self-critical. You know, Leo the lion is regal and royal and has an enormous ego. And so Leo finds Virgo energy of the self-criticism very painful. And there may be some of that around with this Virgo eclipse. I think you need to reassess how you spend your money with this eclipse. Look at different ways that you can encourage money to come in. And remember, because Venus is retrograde, it is giving you a chance actually to re-look at ways to use your education, because it's in Aries at the moment, to find new ways to accrue and make your assets grow. And so I do think that you may find that you have ideas through the next 6 months of income opportunities, because I think you're going to be feeling a little bit insecure because of what's going to be happening in the world economy in general. And I think you're desperate for that kind of financial security. I mean, we all are. But I think, Leo, you're just going to be feeling a little bit anxious about it. So try and step back from that anxiety and just know and have faith that even though the next 6 months may be a little bit choppy, just tighten the belt a bit and find other sources of income. And, you know, downgrade certain brands that you buy so that you just are more frugal. Now, of course, we come to Virgo sun and Virgo rising. So, of course, this eclipse is occurring in your sign. And I think it will make you reflect on who you are, where you've come from, how you've got where you are today, and how you want that to unfold in the future. Uranus making that trine from Taurus to this full moon in your sign is bringing a sense of awakening, of transformation, of reminding you, of giving you a voice, giving you some personal power. I think that this is a full moon that can really increase your personal growth. I think you will be feeling far more empowered in 6 months' time when this eclipse kind of runs its course. Let's look at Libra. Libra sun, Libra rising. So for you, Libra, of course, it's in your 12th house. So it keeps you kind of closed and hidden. And it may be that you need some time to rest and reflect in general. So it's quite a good time to get into some new routines of, you know, even if you've never done it before, of meditating, of connecting, just asking, like I do when I connect with the blue light beings. Hello, anyone there? Anyone want to talk to me? Write it down. What do you want me to know today? It's a great way to kind of forge that contact. And I think it's a good time for you, Libra, to really look at how you look after you, your spiritual inner self and your physical health. Look at how you can work with that in a positive way. Get those checkups done if there's anything worrying you. That would be good use of this energy. So let's move on to Scorpio. And this is the sun in Scorpio or rising sign in Scorpio. So this is much more about you getting out there in the world and connecting with the masses and just feeling much more part of a community. So I think over the next 6 months, you're going to find that where your life might have been a little bit restricted, or you may have found that your circle has been quite limited, that actually that's going to shift and change. And I see a period coming up of much more fun, much more creativity. I think you have ideas flowing in bucket loads of what you would like to create. And I also think through all of this and through mixing in wider circles, there will be opportunities, should you so desire, for some really strong, meaningful friendships and even romance if that's what you're looking for. So actually quite an interesting full moon eclipse. Come out of the shadows, Scorpio. That's what's eclipsed at the moment. You're in the shadows. Sagittarius, sun or rising. This is about your soul journey, your path, career advancements. This is how the public see you. I think what you have to do with this full moon, Sagittarius, is really look at how you can take hold of opportunities for personal growth and adapt to the changes that will come on your career path. Don't stay too rigid. Luckily, being a mutable sign, that's unlikely unless you have a lot of fixed energy already in your chart. Be flexible. If opportunities are coming up, if a door is closing on a particular line of work or a particular timeline to do with your career, trust it, go with it, respect it. And I think it's just going to open up new opportunities. Let's move on to Capricorn, sun in Capricorn and rising sign in Capricorn. So this is very much actually Capricorn about, I think we're going to see you being quite philosophical and looking at really having quite a thirst for learning. I think there are lots of things you would really like to add to your kind of list of achievements and knowledge and knowing. You might want to sign up for a new course. I think you might feel you really want to broaden your horizons. You might want to travel. You might even want to move home or move country. That could be something that could come up for you, depending on your own path or your own natal chart and how the houses actually balance out. But there could be something here about a significant move. And I think it's about finding different ways to assimilate information. You may find that you actually start having perhaps been a bit resistant about AI and things like ChatGPT. You might think, oh, well, I suppose I could investigate it a bit. I could at least give it a chance. And you might be pleasantly surprised. So actually, I think quite a nice, ultimately, once you come out of the shadows, Capricorn, full moon in Virgo, eclipse. Aquarius, sun in Aquarius, rising sign in Aquarius. So this is a little bit like the Leo reading because we have switched houses. We've now gone to the 8th house. So this is where your shared resources are. This is where your partnerships are. This is where your transformation of personal self can take place. The transformation of significant partnerships and relationships. And looking at how other people who are on your life path with you, are they committed with you to your long-term goals? How do they value what you are trying to achieve? Do they have your back? Are they on your team? these are some of the things that I think, Aquarius, you'll be thinking about, because with Pluto in your sign, I think you're very much going to be thinking about how, you're going to change so incredibly over the next 19, 20 years with Pluto in your sign, that we're not going to know you. Not only are we not going to know you in 20 years, we're certainly not going to know who you are in 6 months' time, because I think in 6 months' time, over the next 6 months, you're going to change the whole way that you manage your joint finances, your assets, your savings. I think you're going to be one step ahead of the crowd, because you've listened to me talking about that there could be a little bit of a financial crisis mid-year economically worldwide, and you will have made kind of preparation for that. You will have just made sure that you've got some cash stuffed under the bed or whatever. So let's move on finally to Pisces, because Pisces, the sun is in your sign. So this is the sun in Pisces, or for your rising sign in Pisces. The sun is in your sign, and so is Saturn, slowing you down, still teaching you lessons. The focus, of course, is on the dynamics you have in your close personal one-to-one relationships, and the long-term potential for your relationships to endure the test of time, Saturn. I think you will be reevaluating the relationships you have in your life and looking at how and who, like I said for Aquarius, is on Team Pisces. Who has your back, Pisces? Or is it that you're always the one who has to have everybody else's back? I think you need support too, Pisces. And bearing in mind this full moon is in your opposite sign, there is a sense that a significant relationship may leave your life, but it is only leaving to allow the new to come in. And sometimes uncomfortable things happen, and sometimes those uncomfortable things become the most amazing experiences of our lives. So don't actually worry about it. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. So those are the 12 signs. And just before I finish, I do have a quick word for the day, because I do want to talk about this word because it's uncomfortable. And I think that this full moon can make us all feel a bit uncomfortable. Neil Donald Walsh said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Fred DeVito said, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Gillian Michaels said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that goes for every sign. Over the next few months, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. All will not be as it seems. All is not as it seems now. There's an unknown quote here, which is, you have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. And yeah, because if we're not uncomfortable, we don't look into what is making us uncomfortable. And, Brian Tracy said, move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. P.T. Barnum said, comfort is the enemy of progress. When we're sitting in our comfy chair, I'm terrible at this. I've sat in a comfy chair all my life. Every now and then the cosmos comes along and kicks me out of it, and I grow a bit more. But I get there. And An unknown quote is, "Great things never come from comfort zones." Simone Biles said, "Fear is okay. Fear is good. It's what you do with it that matters." I've often mentioned the book by Susan Jeffers, "Feel the Fear, but do it anyway." And that's true. John A. Shedd said, "A ship in harbour is safe, but that's not what ships are built for." And finally, we've got Brooke Castillo, who said, "Discomfort is the currency of success." So I predict the more uncomfortable we feel through the process of this full moon lunar eclipse, Friday the 14th, the more successful we can ultimately be. So on that note, I'm going to bring this rather long full moon Astrobite to a close and say thank you so much for joining me. And remember to like, comment and subscribe. And also remember, if you would like to have a one-to-one session with me, you can get in touch with me via my website, pennydix.com. I don't have a booking system. What you have to do is email me. And on that email, we will work out a suitable time, probably sometime in the next couple of months, for us to meet. So on that note, thank you so much for joining me. And you know what? Don't worry. Everything will be all right. It will. Bye for now. Bye.